854th America's Mayor Live.
Just so how many
Ted and I, Ted, do we have a camera for you, Ted? I know.
We
do.
Do you know he likes to say he's not, but he's camera shy.
There he is. You know, my hair, sometimes when we're, and it's an excuse, right? But, you know, we got a lot going on. We got to make sure the mayor looks camera ready.
I know, but when you don't, you look like you're working hard.
Exactly.
You look like you're, and
Jim
of course,
Jordan style.
we all know Steven does all the work.
Oh, this is Jim. I'm in the Jim Jordan uniform here.
That's a Trump uniform.
Well, and the Trump uniform sans jacket.
These two guys are fabulous, you know. Oh. I mean, the three of us together get better ratings than CNN. Most of the time.
Come on, let's set the bar
CNN
a little higher.
has
than
1,000 people.
Right. We have a lot of fun, and we get the important.
I think
news
I was listening to Megyn Kelly do a whole. I don't, you know, I have a hard time finding all the rating stuff, right? You know, you have to get it for me. So I was listening to Megyn Kelly the other night, and she was really beating the living daylights out of MSNBC and CNN. And in most cases, CNN is third. I didn't know that. I always thought CNN would, you know, CNN, I hate to say this, and please don't read anything, they're just a little bit better than MSNBC. Meaning if we have a really big incident, right, particularly international, I will go with Newsmax, number one. I'll go with Fox, even though they won't put me on, number two. And I would go with CNN, number three, if I can't get any. You know, internationally, even though since I can discount for their prejudice, I can watch them. MSNBC is like a bunch of yo-yo jackasses. I mean, really terrible. And then Newsmax is fabulous. Thank God for Newsmax. And then all of the independent reporters is the reason we have free speech now. Like, like Steve Bannon that Heather
War Room.
We're going to put on Heather Mullins now, and we're going to talk about Georgia. And when we come back, we're going to talk about Iran and what's going to happen there. But I really want to finish with Georgia. Maybe it's somewhat personal, but I think it also has so much to do because Georgia is really just a carbon copy of Pennsylvania, Arizona, Wisconsin, and I believe Michigan. See, of all those, the first group that I told you, I am absolutely certain, both as a lawyer and as just a human being, that I can prove in front of a fair jury that Trump won in Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Arizona. The only place I think might be close is Michigan. It'd come down to like the last 30 votes. But they cheated like crazy in Michigan. I mean, the fact is, they maybe even did the most cheating in Pennsylvania. But Atlanta was
bad.
Atlanta was the easiest to prove. I mean, you have to be a dope not to see that they cheated.
I feel like that's because Georgia has the dumbest criminals.
It's not Georgia. It's all Fulton County.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Well, there was some stuff going on in DeKalb County.
Yeah.
So
I remember, and he may not want me to repeat this. The lieutenant governor of Georgia now, who's a great guy, Jones. Yeah, he's a great guy, and he is behind a lot of these revelations that nobody really knows. And sorry, Bert, but you should be credited for being a patriot. Bert told me that he knew it was stolen because he's way from South Georgia, right? And the election before in 2016, Trump ran ahead of them by 5%. Him and about 5 other senators that represent South Georgia. He said all of a sudden in 2020, when they're looking at the results, they're 6% ahead of Trump. And it makes no sense because Trump is more popular. And Jones is a decent enough guy to say that. Trump was more popular in my district than I was.
Mm-hmm.
I was popular in the main part of my district where I lived and grew up. But in the part that I wasn't, the name recognition was kind of low. Trump was like the king all over.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, the five of us all run 6 or 7% ahead of Trump. He said we knew it was fixed.
Yeah.
When we saw the election returns coming in, we're saying these are wrong. This can't be possible. We know our districts. This is impossible.
Well, the craziest part about it is even when you see that and you know something was wrong, they then went ahead in Georgia and did 3 different recounts. They did
Of the same phony ballots.
Machine count 1, machine count 2, hand recount,
I was
and
going
none of the
crazy.
numbers matched. None of them matched.
Before they did that, I had hair. While they were doing it, I was pulling it out because they were counting the same phony ballots. They wouldn't take it, they would not allow us to look at the ballots.
Mm-hmm.
With Pulitzer.
Yeah.
We had a guy who had a machine that could distinguish the stationary.
Mm-hmm.
They virtually arrested him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what makes what happened yesterday night so powerful, because you have the Georgia State Election Board subpoenaed those ballots and information. You have voter GA's lawsuit where a judge unsealed those ballots in a civil suit. And then you had the DOJ trying to get access to these ballots. And every step of the way, Fulton County was not only denying access. I spoke with Fulton County Commissioner today, Bridget Thorne, who said Fulton County has spent millions and millions of dollars fighting the release of these ballots for inspection. Like, let that sink in. Taxpayers fund our elections, and then now we're funding Fulton County's cover-up because they're refusing to allow us audit it. Though the millions they spent on refusing to allow us access just went out the window because now Trump's FBI went in there and gathered it all. So this is a huge win for our movement. I don't think people understand.
I think it is a huge win. I'm worried about one thing, though. How many have they destroyed? I know they burned. I mean, I can show you pictures of a bunch of ballots that they burned that an ATF agent reported.
Mm-hmm.
And we, meaning my team, reported it to the U.S. attorney in Georgia.
Yeah. Well,
and Bill Barr stopped him from investigating it.
Was that so? When I was on the ground in Georgia, there was a big story I ended up investigating, and that was right at the end of December. A shredding truck company was ordered to go to the Fulton County warehouse, and the driver of the vehicle believed that he was asked to do something illegal, potentially shred ballots, and so that vehicle was then impounded at the Marietta Police Department, where it was basically on lockdown, and there was this whole thing about who should get access to it.
Yeah, we never did, and it disappeared. And Bill Barr instructed the U.S. attorney there was no fraud here. Bill Barr announced there was no fraud without ever investigating it.
Yeah, he said there's no fraud.
I don't know who fixed him. I don't know what happened, but I do know that he for a whole year, he kept secret the Hunter computer and hard drive.
Oh, yeah.
Even while the president was being tortured by the impeachment, the Attorney General of the United States was covering up the evidence that would have clearly exonerated him.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what happened to Bill. Bill used to be an honorable, decent man, and they must have something on him. They did something to him. He became a complete fraud.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing is, like, one of the reasons people do this, right? These criminals and stuff like that is because the media, right? People need to talk more about the media's role in some of these crimes. They're essentially complicit because our founding fathers gave us the freedom of the press, but what we have is
bless you, Heather.
Like, we have a press that's been weaponized against the American people and providing cover for criminals over years. And, when you have Fulton County as one of the corruption capitals of America, and you have CNN's headquarters right smack dab in the middle, they're part of the organized crime at that point, because all of this fraud happened right in their backyard, and they looked another way and they did nothing to report on it. And so I really think we need to start revisiting, some legislation, like things like the Smith Modernization Act that allowed the Obama administration and the Biden administration to propagandize American citizens. Things like that. I don't know exactly from a legal framework how we balance the weaponization of the media while protecting freedom of the press, but it's certainly a conversation that we need to have.
The way you do it, really, mostly, the answer comes from Aristotle, I think, or maybe Socrates. We just have a better argument than they have, but we have to have access in order to do that. So when I was putting this out, right, YouTube took me off.
Yeah.
I had audiences of over 1 million people. I was making $20,000 a month from them. They just took me right off. So nobody would hear what now turns out to be true.
Yeah. I mean, the free market can only be a free market if we actually have, the protections. And
I am very, very satisfied as long as you give us a chance to rebut, because we're smarter and more honest than they are.
Amen.
I mean, I'm absolutely convinced of that. I've been through it now for 40 years, and not that we're all perfect. We got some creeps on our side too.
We sure do.
The way I describe it is they're systemically crooked, and we're occasionally crooked.
Right. But I mean, like, even with social media, I think one of the reasons that we're actually seeing like a rise in the truth getting out is because they controlled the media landscape, but they didn't control the social media landscape.
Thank God.
So when the technology advanced and people could instantly share stuff in real time, they didn't know how to handle it. And so the legacy media that was on cable television, nobody watched anymore. They started switching to digital streaming platforms. They started going online to places like Twitter or X or, wherever. But now even on places like those, it's like, right, you're like fighting against algorithms. Is if there's, a conflict of interest with a donor or advertisers and things like that, there's that to consider. And so we have to be on multiple platforms, diversify your portfolio. As a journalist, I want to put myself everywhere that I can. So if one platform gets censored, I'm somewhere else. And
Heather, I got to tell you, you impress me so much.
Thank you.
Not only with your knowledge and with your discipline in the way you analyze it. I am extraordinarily impressed.
Well, thank you. That means a lot.
I think people should pay attention to Heather Mullins. I really do. This lady knows what she's talking about. Thank you, Heather.
Well, you mentioned earlier you have a cross on your neck. And
let me see.
I've got one here too. Christ is king, and I'm just following.
He is the king
for my life.
There's no question about it. We can't do a damn thing without him.
Yeah, God.
If you think you can, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
It's the original sin. The original sin is thinking that you have more knowledge than God and wanting to have more knowledge than God. Do you know that's what created Marx? Yeah. Marx thought he was smarter than God, and he should be, and then he embraced Satan. But
I'm not sure who coined this quote, but there's a good quote that I have always loved, and it says, "He who knows best knows how little he knows," and so it's always good to have that learning mindset so that you can.
You are you're exceptional. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Heather. That was that wisdom in what she just said. I don't know if you realize that it's right out of the Bible or every Greek philosophical pre-Socratic philosopher. The beginning of wisdom is to know that you don't know everything.
That's a great,
that comes from the Bible, and it comes from the Greek philosophers, and then the copycat Roman philosophers after it. It's when you're a know-it-all that you get all screwed up. Now, when I interviewed people for my U.S. Attorney's Office and the Justice Department and whatever, the people I just kick right out? The know-it-alls. Because they're never going to learn anything. And isn't that the original sin of Adam and Eve? Think about how significant this is with the early Greek philosophers and Genesis. The serpent tempts Eve with the tree of knowledge. Why should God hide these things from you? Oh, that terrible God. You should be able to know as much or more than God. So eat the apple, you'll be able to eat of the tree of knowledge. So Eve says, yeah, I want to know more than God. Then she goes over to Adam. She convinces him of the same thing. You just described the biggest downfall of human beings when they think they know more than they could possibly know. Now, that's the basis of, we'll sometime do that too. It's the basis of Greek philosophy. It's the basis of Socrates, who never wrote anything. So all we can do is interpret Socrates through Plato and Aristotle, who had a slightly different view of him. But on this, they were completely consistent. Socrates, if he were here, would tell you, if I have only one thing to tell you, I will tell you your knowledge is limited. And always proceed on that basis. Okay, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. She was very good. U.S. Army Major Scott.
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal. 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month,
Wow.
including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news,
Wow.
even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax,
Wow.
channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly,
Wow.
where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code RUDY. Act fast.
Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because they like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans, no Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee.
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal. 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month,
Wow.
including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news,
Wow.
even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax,
Wow.
channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly,
Wow.
where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code RUDY. Act fast. These deals are selling out.
Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine,
I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because we like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans, no Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee.
Well, Rudy's coffee is important, and you should get Rudy's coffee because it's the best coffee imaginable. But if you have to do one thing we're asking you to do on this show in terms of advertisement and everything else, here's the one you should do. You should donate to T2T.org. I'm going to tell you why, because it'll make you better. It'll make you a better person. You want my theology and philosophy? That'll help you get into heaven. Okay. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation supports America's greatest heroes. I've been with them from pretty much day one, and I'll be with him until he calls me back. Heroes we all owe a debt of gratitude to. U.S. service members and first responders who die or are catastrophically injured in the line of duty, as well as homeless veterans. The foundation's Gold Star Fallen First Responder, Smart Home, and Homeless Veteran programs honor the sacrifices made for us by the men and women who risked their lives and bodies for our country and our communities. The foundation's Never Forget programs engaged thousands of people in 9/11 remembrance ceremonies across America through hundreds of runs, walks, and climbs, and golf outings every year. The Tunnels to Towers 9/11 Institute helps teachers educate children in kindergarten through 12th grade about America's darkest day, enabling our nation to keep its vow to never forget. Help support Tunnel to Towers and its important programs. Never forget 9/11 or the sacrifice of our country's greatest heroes, or that day and thereafter. Donate just $11 a month. And consider donating a vehicle or land to change even more lives. Just go to T2T.org. You're going to be better for it. God bless you. Well, that comes from the heart, and it comes from being involved with them from day one. This is the best, I think. I don't know. There are great organizations in America, but if I had to donate the last dollar I had for donation, I'd give it to them. Because I know they're honest, it'll go right to the right place, and it'll help the people that are assuring that I can fulfill my obligation and yours to do everything that we can to turn our country over stronger, safer, and better than it was given to us. We were losing that battle under the dark ages, weren't we? Well, we've come out of the dark ages. Now we can see the light now. $11 a month? Come on. Call right now. T2T.org. Boop, 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 boop. Not going to kill you. You know what? What I'm suggesting to you is better for you than for them. So do it. Just do it. Now, I want to show you a picture. And I want to show you a picture that gets me so angry that I am going to have to take a few deep breaths before I tell you this story. Because this involves my history and what I gave my life to. I want you to look at that. Can they see that, Ted? Yeah, you see that? That's a dead man. That dead man is lying on a bench. I don't know if that's Central Park or exactly where that is, but it's in the city that I was born in, the city I grew up in, and the city that I governed and changed to the safest city in America. That man died because my city citizens were stupid enough to elect a communist mayor who, upon entering the mayoralty, proved his evil spirit by saying that they would no longer pick up homeless people when it was freezing out. Now, that had been the policy of New York City. I wish I had started that policy. I didn't. It came to me, maybe from Dinkins, maybe from Koch, maybe before that. But the policy of the city of New York when I became mayor was, stupidly, although you couldn't force people off the street if it wasn't freezing, you could when it was. Even the crazy Democrats agreed with that. And that survived through Bloomberg, who became kind of a little while of a left-wing liberal. It survived through the communist de Blasio and through Adams, who took it really seriously, more than they did. This guy changed it and 10 people died. 10 people died during the snowstorm who were homeless, who he never picked up. And nobody remembers 10 people dying during a snowstorm before that, under the communist de Blasio, under Adams, under Bloomberg or me, or Dinkins or Koch. This is what you did, my friends, in New York City when you elected a communist. This is going to happen day after day after day after day. This is not just a communist. This is an admirer of Islamic extremist terrorists and a significantly evil hater of Jewish people. What did you do? What did you do to my city? Look at the body again. I don't know who he is. I have no idea who that man is. But if you hadn't elected Mondami mayor, that man would be alive today. If Adams had been reelected, maybe even if Cuomo or Sliwa had been elected, that guy'd be alive. Because when the temperatures approached freezing, they'd have picked him up. Now, maybe they wouldn't have, but maybe Sliwa would have. They wouldn't have done what I did, which is much better than what they did. I picked them up all the time. I just said from the day I became mayor, you don't get to sleep on the streets. Sorry, this is a civilized city. We did away with living on the street somewhere during the Dark or Middle Ages. Among other things, it spreads a communicable disease. And you don't have a right to live on the streets. If anybody wants to challenge me in court, come on, challenge me. 8 years, they never did. I wiped out pretty much homelessness. I brought them into shelters. We made the shelters as safe as we could. We had social workers to help analyze the fact that some very large percentage of the people living on the streets don't need houses. They need medical treatment. They're sick. They're mentally ill or drug addicts. They're not there just because they can't find a home, jackass. They're there because they are extremely sick people. And by the way, if they're not, by the time they end up on the street, you leave them there for a month and you don't pick them up like you don't, Mondami, you jackass, or whatever the hell you are. They become paranoid schizophrenic. And if they begin being paranoid schizophrenic a little bit, by the time you leave them there for 2 months, they get violent. Are you just evil or stupid? I don't know. You're a kid. You don't have much, you have no experience. You strike me as a silly jackass. And unlike my good friend Trump, I would not have treated you that way. I'd have thrown you out. I never had time for jackasses like Sharpton. That guy is dead because of you. Do you feel that? Does it keep you up at night? When people died when I was mayor, it kept me up at night to figure out what the hell to do about it, because I had a Christian soul. What do you have? A Muslim ideology? Like right from the Quran that you swore on? Like kill Christians and Jews, don't be friends with Christians and Jews, get rid of all the infidels before the final judgment? That's all in the Quran, pal. I've read it. I probably know it better than you do. You swore on a book that, if you take it literally, requires you to kill me. Maybe you don't know that. I think you do, but I know it. So when the hell are we going to get rid of you? People who swear on the Quran should be immediately removed from American and public office, because America is tied together by a whole series of beliefs that are very important. The Quran is completely contrary to that. When you swear on the Quran, you're telling us you're not American. Oh, I know there are a lot of people that get really upset with that. But even a lot of the Muslim scholars who I've debated with know that I'm telling the truth. They tried to kill me as a result of it. They really got pretty close to killing Salman Rushdie because of it. And they got close to killing me twice. But I'll keep saying it. I got to warn my people against where they're going. I mean, I think UK is gone. I think UK is going to be a Muslim country in 4 or 5 years if they don't throw this Starmer jackass out. Not a jackass. I don't know what the hell they are. I really don't know what they are when they don't read, they don't think, they don't care. All they want to do is hang on to their little bit of power because it's all they have. Gosh, you know, when I wasn't mayor, I was just as happy as before, because it wasn't the power of being mayor that made me Rudy Giuliani. It was who I am. I loved exercising it for your good, but not so I could be important. I'm either important or I'm not, essentially. I don't need public office to do that for me. I look at that man lying on that bench, and if I look at it any longer, I'll cry, so I got to put it off, and we got to go on to another subject. But I do think it is appropriate to ask the following question. Exactly how responsible is Zoran Mandami for the death of the 10 people who died in freezing weather because he changed the Adams de Blasio, Bloomberg, Giuliani, Dinkins Koch policy of picking up people before it got to freezing and against their will, getting them the hell out of there because they could die. And probably most of them were not in need of housing. They were in need of psychiatric treatment. Well, I'm going to have to take a short break, and we will be right back with Iran.
Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because they like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans, no Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster, and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee.
Flow with me here.
Okay.
I was talking to my sidekick, Ted. Ted, show him. Come on. I get more. Not that. There he is. Ted and Steven, man, I'm going to get a lot more views now. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, boy. No, I will not give you his telephone number.
I have to say, the mayor is the best wingman.
Oh, stop it. Stop
It's
it.
true.
Stop it.
We'll save that for another time. We got too much news to cover.
So we covered Mandami. I don't know if you can say he killed 10 people, maybe 7 or 8. But I would like to wring his neck. I mean, this is like 7, 8 mayors followed this policy. He really thinks he's smarter than all of them. See, that's what happens with a damn communist. It's the original sin. It's the original sin of Marxism. They think they're smarter than everybody else. They think they're smarter than God. They think we're all stupid because we believe in God. They're all stupid because they don't. And that is actually rejecting the key concept of Greek philosophy, but okay. There was a horrible anti-Jewish attack in Crown Heights. What was it, yesterday or the day before yesterday? And they attacked the Lubavitcher national or international headquarters in Crown Heights, which is a beautiful, beautiful, lovely place. Now, you got to know, you got to understand Hasidic Judaism. I know a lot of people, make fun of it, and it's terrible that you do that. And of course, there are Hasidic Jews who are off the reservation, and they're even against Israel. And they focus on that little minority. But most Hasidic Jewish people, whether they're Lubavitcher or some other group, are extraordinarily good people, very religious, very kind. They go around the community trying to help. They've established an ambulance service that is first class, and they'll help everybody. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rebbe Schneerson, who died while I was mayor and who I had the great privilege of knowing and who blessed me was whatever you are, Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, whatever. He was a great man. So this guy, I think it was Sunday. I'm not sure of the day. They're having a big ceremony there. They had a couple of thousand people at the international headquarters of the Lubavitcher movement on Crown Heights in Brooklyn. Crown Heights is a beautiful area. It's right on Eastern Parkway. If you want a little Brooklyn geography, I grew up in Brooklyn. It's a walking distance from Prospect Park. It's a walking distance from where Ebbets Field used to be, which I used to bore my staff with every time we passed it. That's where Ebbets Field was, or Polo Grounds up in Manhattan. So,
do you want to show just a little bit of the damage from the?
Yeah, of course I do. This guy was an animal who did this.
So that's apparently what happened. They drove the car into the door.
Yeah, there were a couple thousand people in there when he did that.
It looked like there was a lot of people outside with some of the other.
You know what he said? He just made a mistake. Now, he was hanging around there for 2 hours. He was hanging around a synagogue, two or three in New Jersey over the last month or two. The guy is like Elon Omar and all the rest of them, a Jew hater. Let's just get real about it, okay? They hate Jews. They don't even know why they hate Jews. And anti-Semitism is so damn old and so crazy that most of the people who embrace it don't even know why they're embracing it. And all the reasons they're embracing it are moronic, idiotic, and historically inaccurate. And I say that as an extremely dedicated Christian. And it's one of the reasons why I love the Jewish people. I love the Jewish people. Number one, I don't think I'd have my religion without them. I love the Jewish people because they're so damn brave. I love the Jewish people because although we disagree on the divinity of Jesus Christ, we agree on basic rules of how civilized people live. And along with the Greeks, and because I'm Italian, maybe the Romans, right? We have Western civilization. But really, if it weren't for Judaism and Jesus Christ and Christianity, we wouldn't have Western civilization. It's a civilization that was built on the cornerstone of strong moral principles that come out of the Old Testament and the New Testament. And then they were translated into laws. Now, the Greeks did the philosophy, but the Romans did the laws. Law comes to us from Rome. And by the time Rome really gave us law, it had been converted to complete Christianity.
Wow.
So please defend with your life Western civilization. Don't give away an inch of it. The reason that Islam is against us is because of Western civilization. And never fall into the trap that Islam is a religion of peace. As very well-meaning, nice, euphemistic, but soft-headed Westerners have said, it is not. The Quran is a very different book than the Bible. Okay, so that's where we are. And that's what caused the attack on the beautiful international headquarters of the Lubavitcher. The Muslim injunction from Mohammed to kill Jewish people or disturb them or interrupt them or frighten them or do whatever the hell you can to destroy them. It's in the Quran, right there. I don't know. I don't have it right next to me, but I have it real close. I could read it to you. And they're doing what they're told to do by Muhammad. We have got to talk to each other honestly. And we've got to say to our Muslim brothers in America, we've got to say to them, how do we overcome this? How do we get beyond those parts of the Quran? This is the Quran in the chronological order. I even have Jefferson's Quran here, filled with very, very critical notes.
Now, what does that include? The Thomas Jefferson?
Thomas Jefferson got his hands on the Quran to see what the Muslim religion was all about, because they were killing us in the Middle East, and the criminal attorney general of Minnesota took his oath on this, but he never bothered to read the interlinear notes, in which Jefferson talks about this religion as a religion of war rather than peace. But I mean, he's a major jackass, and a silly man, and a dangerous man.
Probably corrupt, most likely.
We're talking Ellison, obviously.
Ellison is a very dangerous man.
I mean, how can you be the attorney general for this long of that state and not be at least aware of some of this fraud that's happening? You can't tell me that all these Democrat leaders were not aware of something this massive happening in its largest, community.
I'll go one better and say that they must have been aware, and they were parties to it.
Right. The entire history of the West is, aside from the Crusades and we have been stupidly euphemistic about the Muslim religion. It's a religion that Muhammad, in his last words to his people, told them to wipe us out. And they would only have a really good last judgment if they have wiped out Christians and Jews. And either by killing us or by converting us, or there was a third way. But the third way was really compromised by crooks. The third way wasn't even in honest effectuation of their religion. The third way was you could get money. So a Jew or a Christian could pay you money, and they become a dhimmi, D-I-M-M-I. Dhimmi really means slave. First of all, you accomplish this ceremony by kissing their feet. And then you are submissive to them. You can be a Christian or a Jew, but you can't question them. Now, can you practice your religion? Drive through Saudi Arabia. See if you see a cross or a Jewish star. If you're practicing your religion, you're doing it really quietly. Not unlike us, where we make it really easy to be Islamic and practice the religion that wants to destroy us. They don't allow us to practice our religion.
Right.
And just to provide a contrast, you were saying that was the final direction of Muhammad before the Quran closes. We can kind of compare that to Jesus and his last teaching for us. Go out into the world and let your peace rest.
Yeah. The last thing Jesus said is to forgive those who kill me.
Yes, sir.
That's the last thing Jesus said.
And
one of the last things
go out into the world and let your peace rest with those who are worthy, and spread the word. Spread the word of love. One of the last words.
This thing you see here is the Quran reorganized in chronological order. That's really important, because I think the Muslims, somewhere in the 2nd or 3rd century of their existence, when they put this ridiculous book together, decided that they better hide it and screw it up. So why would you put a book together? Well, suppose you took the Bible, New Testament, Old Testament. You put the longest book first, then the next longest, and then the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. And you'd never be able to tell the difference between the New Testament and the Old Testament. You never tell the difference in what they were teaching and not teaching. You never tell the difference in what's ancient and maybe shouldn't be given as much credit now as the things that are more current. To make that even more dramatic, they came up with a theory that the last thing that's in there is a determinative. In other words, if in the early part, when you read it, if in the early part Muhammad said, kill all the Jews and Christians, which he did, and then in the later part he said, they're people of the book, we should love them. That's what he meant. Except they reordered the damn thing so that chronologically, originally, he basically said, leave them alone because I can convert them. I can sell them on the shit that I have here, which I was taken by Gabriel up to there, and they're going to tell them, and then I'm going to drop down on the floor and have a fit, which is either is epileptic, satanic created, or who knows what it is. And they're not going to believe me, and they're going to throw me out of Mecca. So they reordered this whole thing so you can't figure it out. This reorders it to chronological order. The last things that Muhammad taught them were to kill Christians and Jews. Fight in the cause of Allah those who fight you. This is about 3 years before he died. It would appear to have been written when he was a young man. And slay them wherever ye catch them, and turn them out from where they have turned you out. If they fight you, slay them, such is the reward. Well, in any event, you got to learn a lot about this before you become brainwashed, huh? Well, we have with us Sayad Shams, who is a successful electrical engineer and a human rights advocate for the people that need it the most, I think, on earth, the Iranian people, who have gone through, 47 years of persecution. So Sayad, how do we, where are we right now? Are we on the verge of ending this, or is, well, and what do we have to do to end it?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your show. This is an honor. I really appreciate that. However, what is really unfolding across Iran is not another episodic protest driven by prices or sanctions. It is a nationwide uprising shaped by historical memory, economic collapse, political exhaustion. After nearly half a century of clerical rule, Iranians are not asking for relief payments or marginal reform. They're rejecting dictatorship itself. So the current demonstrations now, encompassing about 200, more than 200 cities, signal that the populace is fed up, not just with economic hardship, but with a regime that has proved resistant to meaningful governance and reform. So where we are, this is a not like any uprisings that we had before. Today's unrest, Iranians had endured the amount of inflations and isolations before. What distinguishes this moment is that fear has fractured entirely, and political alternatives have begun to take shape. Widespread slogans like "Death to the oppressor, be it Shah or the leader," capably illustrate this uprising goes beyond mere economic grievance. It's a clarion call for popular sovereignty that seeks to dismantle this theocratic structure itself. And it will not stop until it does so. So
Do you
that's where we
really
are.
do you really now from the outside
Mhm.
it appears as if it's slowed down a little.
Right.
From the outside, I understand the outside can be very, very deceptive.
Right.
Uh, but it also appears as if it's strong enough to easily be revived
Right.
because it's been going on for so long. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we can go to 2014, maybe before that, with the uprisings, and then they got very significant in 2018, and then again when the young lady was killed who had a
Right.
little. So
Massa. Correct.
it gives you a big history of this. What is
Right. Mhm.
I don't know.
I
It's
agree.
very hard to ask. I'm not even sure we ever know. But what is it that's needed to put this over the goal line and get rid
Right.
of this Ayatollah?
So, just like any movement, this uprisings has its ebb and flow. It is the way it had started. It had from the onset, it set a goal when they said death to the dictator, death to Khamenei. They are not stopping after that, and this has been going on. That's why the Iranian regime had come out and shut down the digital highways and internet everywhere across the country, so people are not able to show the world what is taking place. And but even with all of that, they continue doing that, knowing in time they will broadcast it to the world through the efforts of the resistance units. As you know, the resistance units have uh, been established there for many, many years. You may have seen actually some of the members who were of this resistance units in this uprisings who were captured and or killed, and they're from all walks of life. They're myself, like myself, engineers. There, some of them professors in universities, like the one that I was reading today on one of the Twitter postings, that a 42, 43-year-old man who was teaching at the University of Tehran and who had been active since 2014, 2015, and a few times had been arrested. And you know what they do when someone is arrested by this regime, the torture that goes on and so forth. But then after that, when he was released,
I
he
don't think a lot.
continued.
May I just interrupt you a moment? I don't think a lot of
Sure.
people know that. I don't think a lot, I know it, you know it, and people who have followed this know it. But I don't think a lot of people know how much torture has gone on, and may I say, under the Shah
Yeah,
and now
exactly.
under the regime. So we're talking about 4 or 5 decades of torture
Several
from
years,
the
several
first
decades.
Shah to the second Shah to the Savak, and now
Exactly.
now the IRGC. I mean, these people have been beaten down. It's remarkable to me.
You're
Every
absolutely
time I
correct.
got the honor
Yeah.
to address them, it's remarkable to me how much spirit they still have for freedom. These are remarkable. These are very exceptional people.
Well, thank you. But also, first of all, you have a great depth of knowledge on Iran, and that's really fantastic. It's refreshing to see that, to hear that, to see that. But as you mentioned, from the post Shah and before that, his father. So we're talking at least up to now, at least 80, 90 years,
Oof.
right? So that sort of repression had been taking place for that many decades and prior to it. And but Iranian resistance and Iranian people, they have been determined about having a democratic republic from the get-go, and they have not given up on that. And of course, we have seen it uh, the by the overthrow of the Shah, and of course that was, as the world knows, it was hijacked by the mullahs, by Khomeini and now Ali Khamenei, who directly orders of killing people in the streets, Iranian people, and he's supposed to be the leader
Right.
of the people, right? So, and but for many years, and you recall all that has been going on, and the world now knows about 1988 massacre of 30,000 or more people, of prisoners that the regime had at that time,
Now,
which majority of them were
were
members of the
these
MEK.
people were these people basically members of the Mujahideen, the MEK?
Exactly.
Yeah,
You're
because
you're absolutely correct.
that was their biggest and most feared rival,
And it still is.
as it is today.
Exactly. I
The
mean, this
Ayatollah
is
has
what they
said
do.
that,
Right.
and we
When
don't pay attention to it.
in
You
their
said
Friday
it.
gatherings, right? In their Friday gatherings, the chanting they do, right? You're aware. It says
I'm
death
very
to
aware.
America, death to
Please tell
England,
us.
and death to the Mujahideen, right? So we're right there, ranking with US and everything when they said death to something, right? Yes, this is their number one enemy. It has been their number one enemy, as was the number one enemy of the deposed Shah, as it, and they are the ones, as a matter of fact, through a National Council of Resistance of Iran, and with the efforts of the members of the National Council of Resistance, which, by the way, they're from different ideologies, Christians, Muslims, and others, and that with the great proposed efforts of Mrs. Mariam Rajavi, the president of National Council of Resistance of Iran, have put out a 10-point plan. Clearly, in there, they're asking for, and this is what people are asking today on the streets, right? Asking for a democratic republic, freedom. They want a governance of people by the people and no other. So this is what the Iranian regime do to the people of Iran, to the Iranian resistance units who are guiding these uprisings forward and have been quite successful, by the way.
You know what's very impressive,
Yeah.
and why I mean, I've watched this for a long time, and I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but I do think that the geographic distribution of this is very impressive. I don't know if those of us in the West understand this, but this is happening all over Iran, not just in Tehran or Qom,
Right.
the ones we know about, but it's happening in the ethnic minority areas, the Azeri
Exactly.
and the
Well said.
Kurd. And
Hmm.
now, I have to ask you this:
Sure.
I believe that the baby Shah, I call him the Nepo Shah, is being used as a weapon to calm this down. Now, we had on last night a cyber expert
Right.
who has gotten into their brilliant group of people and completely neutral on our issue. And they will say to you categorically that the regime spread messages trying to lift the support of the baby Shah because they realize it'll discourage the people.
Right.
They realize that people will say, why am I putting my life at risk and my children to get rid of this tyrant? Maybe he's a little worse, but I'm going to get another tyrant back. What I want, if I'm going to do this, I want, as you say, freedom.
Right.
So what is he all about? What is this
Well,
ne'er-do-well who's never had a job,
right.
never shown up
Exactly.
for anything where he had to risk it? What's this all about? Is it complete the continued corruption of the Pahlavi regime, or
As it has been, right?
yeah?
So he pops up like a whack-a-mole every so often, and you know, and
A whack-a-mole. I like that.
well, because every time there is something going on, right, in Iran, and he, by the way, waits till the uprising starts and goes on forward, and then he pops out again like a whack-a-mole and saying, "Hey, I'm here to lead. You guys go ahead, move forward, and I'm here to
I'm here.
lead."
I'm right here. Yeah, when things are safe, I'll show up.
Right, exactly. I mean, what you said and what about Jeff Barton that you had on your show
Yes,
last
yes, it was
night?
Jeff Barton, exactly.
Yeah, and then I was listening to that show, and I'm interested the guests you have there every so often, and I was impressed by the amount of the data he put out to show that all of this are nothing but a facade and a freak show by this baby Shah, as you mentioned. So the people of Iran, we have a saying. There is a Persian proverb that says, "Az chah be chale uftadan," basically meaning that you escape a pit only to fall into the well. So people are not going to do that, right? So we're not, and people, you're coming into the street, and this is across all ages, by the way. This isn't like in 2022, you had many, and majority of those in the streets were the young people. This is across all ages.
It is. Yes.
There were 3-year-old killed in this uprising because people were coming out with everything they've got, with their family and everybody, and they have shown to tell the world, right? Because we are communicating in different ways, right? The world communicates with one another in different forms and shapes. And this is the way they communicated to the world. We bring everything out. We have nothing to lose. Like I said, the fear is entirely fractured. That's why we were talking about at the beginning about this whole thing of some say that the everything is quiet down in Iran, which is far from the reality, you know. And when we were talking about this Mr. Pahlavi, you know, he has spent um, the intervening decades largely absent from Iran's struggles, living abroad and removed from risks borne by those inside the country. He has no idea what the risks that people are going through. And his current role is politically more dilutive rather than being additive. So he's entirely, like you said, and
Absolutely.
that is also helping the Iranian regime to have a few more uh, basically places to breathe, time to breathe for a while, to last longer. That's what his mission is, really. Because, like we said, I mean, he sends some kind of a note or whatever to Iran from Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a break. First of all, you haven't worked a day in your life. By the way, uh, as someone who had worked for 30 years, I deserve vacations every so often. You know, but this guy, he's always in vacations because
Yeah,
he
yeah.
hasn't worked a day in his life.
No,
I
this is
thought you
going to
have
be
to work to be here.
and the effort
Right.
after, if God willing, we're able to overthrow this regime of terror.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
it's going to be quite a thing to put Iran to get together again. You have
You have to have a
a
plan.
little more than half of Iran being
Right.
So-called Persian, right?
Right.
Then you have another a little less than half being all these ethnic minorities, Azeri, Kurds, Baluchi,
Turks, Baluchis.
and a
Right.
lot of small groups,
Right.
very, very small groups of people. And if you want to hold a country together, like we do in America, because we're a country like that in many ways,
Right. Melting pot.
you need a leader that is that's open to everyone, that's democratic, that's willing to go with the ebb and flow of being voted in, voted out, making arrangements with different groups, like they do in a number of other countries, that have this situation, and then you can hold it together. And
Exactly.
I know I'm very, very biased because I've spent 15 years with her. But Madame Rajavi and her people already have that sense. They already have people from all these groups interacting with them. And I've watched them when they've had differences of opinion on how to deal with the persecution they were going through and how they resolved it. So,
Yeah, this great display of unity amongst
yeah,
them.
I just hope that we make the right decision, because my country has sometimes made the right decision and sometimes it's made tragic decisions in picking the wrong people. And I'm very interested in making sure we make the right decision.
As an Iranian American, Mr. Mayor,
God bless
I
you, by the way.
th-
Do you know the contribution that Iranian Americans have made to this country? You're some of the smartest people that ever came here.
you're
I
kind,
mean,
sir.
my God, I am so impressed as I've gotten to know your community. I am so impressed that I can't imagine what will happen if we can free Iran, make it a democracy, a republic, a decent country. What your people can contribute. You got tremendous talent to give and make us a better world, all of us.
Exactly. That's why. As you uh, correctly said, that the National Council of Resistance of Iran, with President Maryam Rajavi, is a uniter. It is bringing everyone together from all walks of life, from all minorities, and from all religions, because Iran is made of all of that.
Yeah.
Of every piece of it has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, thousands of years, actually. If we go back to the time of Cyrus,
Yeah.
but what having that 10-point plan exactly spelling out what they are going to do, what is the plan when this regime is overthrown. This is what they go forward with. They do have a platform, and they have a map to go with. But also, I want to add this. For now, I would say Iran stands at a critical juncture, right? The ongoing uprisings offers now an opportunity for the Iranian people to reshape their future, rejecting not just a clerical regime, but the entire fabric of despotism that has stifled their hopes, their dreams for decades.
Yes.
The struggle is for a democratic, peaceful, secular, and non nuclear Iran, which remains a distant dream, but one that is closer than it has been in decades.
Yeah. That's
That
beautifully
is my
put.
belief. This is what this uprisings is basically
That's
displaying
beautiful.
to the world. And I also want to say the voices rising from the streets of Iran call not just for respite from suffering, but for an entirely new political paradigm. The time for meaningful change, as you mentioned, is now.
May I
as
ask
the
you?
Iranian regime's
May I ask you a
veneer
question
of its stability.
that became a little bit of a debate last night
Mhm.
between two or three very well-meaning people who all
Right.
have the same goal, which is an Iran that is a democracy, a republic, a nation of laws, and
Mhm.
and able to go forward with the natural assets that they have,
A
unhindered
lot of it.
by a terrible theocracy. However,
Exactly.
here's their dispute. Some of them think that America, President Trump, America, should take out the Ayatollah's main military facilities. Attack, in other words,
Right.
not with troops. Nobody thinks they should attack with troops, but an aerial attack, like we did before. But one focused on taking out the major strength of the regime of terror. Some feel that that will have the opposite impact, that it will have people rally toward the regime again, sort of on a nationalistic basis. And I respect the people who expressed both of those opinions because they have the same goal. And it puts my president in a very difficult position, right? Which is the
Well,
right thing to do.
well,
Can you give me your wisdom on it?
right. Here's what I see
Please.
from what I
That's
hear
what I'm
from
asking.
Iran.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please.
And what that is that uh, and you heard today, by the way, that the European Union at last, after decades, they put IRGC on the list of the terrorists,
Good.
which
Well,
is
that's good. Okay, good.
fantastic. You know, what do they say? Better late than never, right? So it's done. Now they of course have to take the following steps from here on. But the Iranian people, by their uprisings today, they are clearly saying to the world, we have the right to defend ourselves, and we're going to defend ourselves. But at the end of the day, it's a self-determination that the Iranian people are telling the world,
100%.
right, to have. So that alone gives it the basis for, depending on the people, to carry on with their efforts. We have to support that from every corner of the world. And again, w- now that the IRGC, well, we already did that, right?
Mhm.
President Trump put him on the list on his first term, and of course took care of Soleimani and all of that, which is fantastic, right? EU joined in today. That is a great and a remarkable addition that can help, that sends the message to Iranian people, those in the streets, that yes, you who have made this happen, your unity amongst you have made this happen. Resistance units have made this happen. And now, of course, we have to put our efforts together here outside of Iran to continue letting the world know that the next step is necessary. Remove and close all of those embassies of, basically they are filled up with IRGC members. Nothing in Iran happens that is not under the control of Ali Khamenei and IRGC. All of their embassies in the world have been nothing but houses of spies. And they,
So if the president were to decide, so listening to his cabinet meeting today and Pete Hegseth, it seems to me he's got he's got he's got a military force there that would probably take out Russia, much less Iran. Maybe do a pretty good job on China. I mean, you have no idea the military might that he has there. It's twice what he had outside of Venezuela. Now, That part of that is not just to attack Iran. It's to protect America should Iran strike back at the 14 bases, American bases that are there. Because he would, if he does this, he wants to do it without losing American lives. He may not, but he wants to. So the question is, if he were to take action of some kind, would that further the revolution, or would it retard the revolution? And do you have a feeling about that? Because there are people on both sides. There are people on both sides. I can hear people in Iran saying, I wish he would bomb and get this over with. And I can hear these other people say, oh, my goodness, that would just create a nationalistic response in favor of. So I don't know the answer to that. And I would imagine he's struggling with that.
Iranian people, they know who is their number one enemy. It is quite clear to them. They have said it on the street, is Ali Khamenei, is the current regime.
Good.
It is nothing else, nobody else. They've never had an argument with nobody else. They never had, any fight with anyone else. It's basically the regime in Iran. That's their number one enemy, because Iranian people are the number one enemy of the Iranian regime. So in order to assist this movement to gain more momentum and so forth, is again, recognize their right to defend. How do we do that? And also recognize from their understanding of the matter of the self-determination of a nation to form their future, what they're going to do. And I know that we have we have a very capable forces out there. And of course, there are 40, 50,000 Americans that they are there in different parts of the Middle East. And they need to be protected from anything that they're.
How do you look at the force, the Iranian groups inside all the 140, 150 cities of Iran? Are they capable of contesting and ultimately defeating the IRGC?
I believe so. Listen, they in the streets, right? All they've got in their hands are basically pieces of broken bricks and stones that they
Should we
throw
give
at
them weapons?
They have the weapons.
Okay.
I'm sure
right.
they dig it out. They are always resourceful. Let me say that. They're always
I
able
know
to
that.
provide.
I've seen it before.
Yeah, but again, as you were one of the proponents of supporting the resistance, and we are grateful for that. And many of members of the Congress, when you look at the House Resolution 166, that has more than 220 from both parties, by the way, supporting it, which is quite a
Yes,
feat.
it's remarkable.
It isn't it? So this is a type of effort that has to be forth. Our Congress, which, by the way, Iranian regime is deathly afraid of it, and our people, our representatives, are the people of this country. They're peace-loving people. They need, and by understanding what the Iranian people want, and that is freedom, that is a republic, a democratic republic, and they are willing to sacrifice their lives for it. That much is shown. I think we have to feed into that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have to support that. We have to let the people know in the world that that is the case. And nobody like this Baby Shah, as you mentioned, can come in and try to, like Khomeini did, to hijack this.
I think
this is not going to happen.
Personally, I think that would cause a civil war with the minorities. I think the Azeris and the Kurds and the Baluchis would resist that with their lives, because
they have.
The way in which He treated all of Iran horribly, but he particularly
Exactly.
treated the minorities horribly and
Well,
persecuted.
if
And
yeah,
they remember that. I mean, they go
yeah,
back to their grandfather and their sister and their aunt, and remember who he took into the. He built the prison that the Ayatollah is using.
yeah, exactly. Actually, Savak, who is helping this baby Shah right now, is the one that trained the IRGC
Yeah, I don't
people.
know if there's much of a difference.
Exactly.
Like an
Is the
overlap. Well,
both.
I've got to run. I kept these people way over time, but
Okay.
you have been terrific, very very illuminating, and thank you very very much for your time. I appreciate it. We'll get back to you. This is going to take a little while, and we're going to need people who understand the inside. We got an awful lot of people who talk about this and they don't know what they're talking about. So thank you so much.
I thank you, sir.
For giving
Thank
us
you
your
so much.
wisdom. It's remarkable. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
And God bless the people of Iran.
Right.
Oh my goodness, they've been through so much. And what you maybe don't know, because I've had a chance to really spend a lot of time with many of them. I am absolutely convinced that if we do this, if we find the right way to liberate them, and we provide, we help them, because they're gonna do it, but they need help, like everybody does, and they can create a functioning form of a republic democracy with a guarantee of rights for people. These will be extraordinary allies of the United States and Israel to kind of bring the Middle East together. Now, what are they right now? They're the single biggest reason why we can't achieve peace in the Middle East. How different would this be if Donald Trump leaves the White House? And they're one of the biggest reasons why we can achieve peace in the Middle East. That would change the world. That would change that segment of the world, which has a big impact on it, because that's where the oil and energy wealth is. Not to mention all of these rare earth and minerals and other things that now have become enormously important in China's attempt to enslave the world. And don't ever forget that, because we fooled ourselves about China for too damn long. And I'm not going to go back and condemn all the people who did it and all the people who didn't. And I don't know. I don't know how many just were silly and silly liberals or silly Republicans or people who were swayed by all the money they could make or the big market they could have. But from the very beginning, China was a much more evil enemy than Russia. I knew that when I was a baby. I don't know why they don't know that. All you got to do is read. Read? That's hard to do. Well, thank you. That was very very good. He did, however, avoid the ultimate decision, which is why Trump gets paid the big bucks.
Right.
Should he or shouldn't he attack?
Right.
Notice he never answered it.
I did notice.
I was going to push him. I was going to push him to a determination, but I didn't want to. We'll get him back again, and we'll do it.
Well, maybe he knows when or if he is
Well, I
going
didn't
to
wanna push
attack,
him. He
and he'll
wasn't
do
ready
it
to
at his
say it.
choosing.
Look, I respect the man. The man is obviously has invested his life in this. I respect. He wasn't ready to say. I wasn't going to push him to it. Maybe I should have. Maybe I shouldn't have. I pushed the others to it, but they were ready. They were ready. I could feel they were ready to say, we should attack. We shouldn't attack. I don't think he was ready yet. He was working. You could see his mind working on. He knew what I wanted, and you could see his mind work. A very intelligent man.
Oh, yeah.
You could see that his mind was working on.
How to answer it.
But he's not the president of the United States. It's really
Right.
This is an extraordinarily difficult decision for President Trump. For me, it isn't as difficult because and maybe maybe there's something wrong with me, but I'm a complete absolute hawk about communism. I believe the only way to deal with them is to stand up to them and scare the shit out of them, because they are an atheistic, Neanderthal, horrible group of people who will do anything to destroy us and justify any immorality of any kind in order to bring us down. And it's the reason we're in the condition that we're in, that God is gone, and they took God out of America.
You're describing a lot of the Democrats. We're following the elections, right? You're describing a lot of people in our own country.
Have become controlled by the communists. Well, how do they sit by and allow this monster to become mayor of New York, who within the first 2 weeks he's in office kills 10 people? Now, I don't have any problem telling you he killed them. I mean, he changed a 40-year regimen in New York that spanned so many mayors with different views, which is you don't let people freeze to death. How about that, huh? But communists don't care about people. Human life means nothing. That's why they're not Christians or Jews, because human life means nothing. The only thing that means something is the state. New York City is going to take over giving people food. Yeah, they're going to give people poison. Ultimately, if New York City takes over giving people food, they'll give them rat poison. This is a lack of education. All you have to do is study the history of, forget communism. Socialism is communism. Anybody who tells you it's different, it's softer, it's what, forgets who invented socialism, who created it, who's the father of socialism. It's the same person who's the father of communism, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Socialism is merely the economic system, of which communism is the political system. Either one results in enormous violence at the end of 20, 30, 40 years, because both are horrible, horrible desecrations of the human soul. They completely disregard what it is to be a human being and a child of God. Well, we promised you tonight that we were going to simplify for you, but we're going to do it tomorrow night. The 10-point plan. I know you hear about it all the time, and I think you want to know what it is. I'm going to make it really simple for you before we simplify it. It's like the Bill of Rights. Essentially, it's the Bill of Rights with a couple of things added to it because of the peculiar experience of the Iranian people. It will create a government that is prohibits the death penalty, because no country other than China has executed more people than Iran, and there is a sensitivity to it. Completely understand it, even though I can, under certain circumstances, support the death penalty. Other than that, and with a little more emphasis on treating women fairly, which they need to make up for what they've done, it's essentially our first 10 amendments. Yeah. The freedom of religion, freedom of speech, several times reiterated freedom for women, due process before they do anything to you, because due process, I mean, what 120,000 members of the MEK who wrote this have been destroyed, but 120,000 members of the MEK have been killed. Nobody disputes that. They haven't earned their right to be part of this. The Shah, what were his losses? How much money did he have? All the money he stole from the Iranian people.
A beautiful life in Los Angeles and Washington,
You
D.C.
got it, all stolen from the mouths of the Iranian people who were starving because when they got money, they gave it to the terrorists rather than to the people.
Oh,
When Obama was transferring the cash to them, it went right to the terrorists that killed Americans and Jews. Why you're not in jail, Obama, is only because of the corruption of my country. Under the America that was created by our founding fathers and existed for so many years, you would be in jail for assisting terrorist murderers. I know that. I don't know if you know that. Maybe you live in some strange world. I bet your wife knows it. She seems more realistic than you. Well, the IRGC terrorist organization was finally recognized by the EU. Too little, too late. What do you think? Is the EU totally useless or completely useless? Which is it, totally or completely?
I wouldn't say useless. I would say that
Oh, no, you would say they're dangerous.
They're actively
Dangerous.
harmful.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, it's
Well, that's
not even
impossible
worth,
to
I don't
say.
Here,
You don't know the
ESU.
alternative, right?
I don't really give a shit what you say about them. I never paid attention to you before. Why would I pay attention to you now?
It's basically a good contra-indicator as to how I should feel, right? If the EU feels a certain way,
I mean, if it weren't for the fact that I know so much about the IRGC, I'd kind of feel sorry for them if they were attacked by the EU. The EU is usually wrong. I got to say something. I was going to spend a lot of time on this. We will tomorrow night. The attack on Kristi Noem is so damn sick. It's disgusting. Now, let's put aside for a second Minnesota and what happened there. Let's look at what her agency has achieved. A miracle. It's her agency that took a country that was being raped by the other countries of the world by sending people here who wanted to kill us, rape us, engage in human trafficking, kill us with fentanyl and other forms of drugs, and take us over politically as terrorists. Our country was open, wide open to all those people. Biden didn't give a shit who came in. He even assisted some of the worst to come in, like the Chinese. He actually helped them come in to destroy us. Maybe because he got millions from them. I don't know. Maybe because other Democrats have gotten millions from them that we don't know about. But they sure as hell are very, very partial to Red China, who wants to destroy us. So she comes in and they do a miracle. They just cut down. I mean, it's over. They're not coming in anymore. They can't get in anymore. So that leaves us with the internal. I mean, I thought it would take 2 or 3 years to get there. And then we could turn to the internal problem. Now we're turning to the internal problem. And do you realize how brainwashed you've become about who the people are who came in as illegal aliens into this country over the last 4 years? These are not the people coming to the Statue of Liberty, you know, with $20 in their pocket and seeking a better life. Oh, maybe a couple. When you open your country like that with no vetting, no standards, no investigation, you get every piece of shit in the world that comes in. And you get every group that wants to exploit you, exploiting you, and they did. And the simple fact is that stop the sobbing and crying for them. And Catholic Church, will you cut it out? I mean, the people you were helping before had some argument, at least, that they wanted to come here to work and better their life, and they were getting ahead of other people, which is unfair, and you were helping that unfairness. But at least we were getting people that were industrious people. The group we're getting now, although you will get some like that, I mean, they'll come in, right? But the large percentage of them are very dangerous people. And you are taking in the dangerous people of the world to jeopardize us. That's just wrong. They have no right to come here. Nobody has a right to come here. You don't have a right to come here and say, I'm an American. We have a right to set down standards. And I think it's really important, because if we want to preserve, protect, and defend this country and pass it on to our children, it has to mean something. It can't become Sharia law in some parts where they stone a woman because she got raped. Well, that's what they do. That's what they're trying to do in Michigan. Believe it or not, that's what they're trying to do in Texas. That's what they're doing in England. They're almost there. That little jackass who went and sucked the ass of Xi Jinping today, Keir Starmer. I don't even know how the president talks to him. I'd spit in his face. That's why I probably couldn't be president. I'd spit in his face. Carney, I'd punch in the nose, but that's okay. These people are giving away the only civilization that humanized this world. The only civilization that took human life and placed it on a pedestal. Maybe we're giving it away because with abortion, we desecrated human life. You just think of how many lives we eliminated in the last 50 or 60 years. Maybe we offended God. I don't know. But I think we have to pray to him to help us nonetheless, because even with all that, we're necessary to save the human race from barbarity. And the president is on the right track. So stay with us, son. Stay with us and our brethren and our sisters and those independent journalists who are trying really, really hard to get you the truth, because the establishment press doesn't give a shit about the truth. All it cares about is money, profit, power, and the right place at the cocktail party. Well, you can't believe how important that is. Yeah, I mean, it even affects inside. I mean, I'm sure there are people that would have sold their soul to go to Melania's opening tonight.
Well, there were people feverishly trying to get those.
I know some people who did.
Yeah, they sold their soul.
Yeah.
And now,
I know some people that tried to.
Would not
didn't
want
get it.
that, and Melania wouldn't want that. But that's human nature, unfortunately. And if you don't understand human nature and protect against it,
I'm going to start asking
you
people.
lose your soul as a nation.
I'm going to start
So
asking.
how did the Melania thing go? Do we have any idea?
Well, we don't have an idea. I'm going to ask my friends if they were there.
Christy Nome show up?
I'm trying to get answers. I'm going to ask
Because
my friends
if
if they
Christy
were there.
Nome didn't show up, I would have canceled it, because I think that this is a test. Christy Nome did exactly what she was told to do really well. And this is a woman who I would be very comfortable with being president of the United States. Don't destroy her.
Amen. Couldn't have said it.
Don't destroy her on the altar of the Washington Post and the New York Times and the rotten Republicans who don't have the character And all they want to do is beat people down for their own advantage. We have them too. We just, as I've said to you before, we have really bad people in our party, but it's episodic, some. In their case, it's systemic. It really is. And I know it's hard to believe that from someone who's a Republican, but I haven't been a Republican all my life. I don't necessarily have to be the rest of my life. I'm an American. And I'm a Christian and a Catholic. And that's where I go first. And then Republican, because it's the only choice right now. I would be much more comfortable if there was another choice. I might not make it. I might not make the other choice. I wish there were liberals like I knew in the 70s and the 80s. I'd be very comfortable with that. Maybe even into the 90s. Somewhere they all became Islamic and communist. They won't say a word to criticize Jew hatred. They won't say a word to criticize the Quran that wants to kill Jews and Christians.
And put it about our own country too. They've been trained to hate America, that we're racist, that we're.
You listen to these people, we're the worst country in the world, and then you say to yourself, as a logical person, how come everyone wants to come here? Does it ever occur to these guys like Schumer and Elon Omar with her brother and whatever, ever occur to them, if we're so bad and we need you to change us so much, fundamentally, like Obama wants to change us fundamentally, maybe if we change fundamentally, nobody want to come here. If it becomes like you want us to be, because then we'll be like everybody else that nobody wants to go to. These are just like, this is the thing that ended when we stopped educating young people in colleges, which is probably 30 years ago. We stopped giving them the power of independent logic and rationality. The rationality now has to serve a greater purpose, which could be communism, socialism, anti-American, pro-Islamic.
The green energy scam.
Oh yeah, green energy. Yeah,
that became a religion for a lot of people.
But that's what happened. People need a religion. People need God. And if you can substitute, as Marx understood, communism for God, you got them. Well, have we covered everything? Let's see. Trump accounts, great idea. I wish they had them when my kids were young. Nicki Minaj, I don't know. I'm not a rap whatever, but I love you. I love Nicki Minaj. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
We all love her now.
And the fact that he gave her a gold card so she can become a citizen and she didn't pay for it. Oh, how about she put hundreds of thousands, if not millions, into the account to help kids? And I'm sure if you all get really nervous about it, she's certainly capable of paying for it.
Here's Nicki Minaj at the White House.
If he gave this to some dummy athlete, they'd probably be happy about it.
And I think she supported the accounts well over the amount that the gold card would have cost.
Yeah, I know. She's been giving money to it for years, and she just made about a $400,000 or $500,000 contribution to it, which is most of the value of that thing that she got, which makes her a citizen in like 14 years or 10 years or something like that. It used to be you could pass a bill in Congress and just make her a citizen. I don't know if you can still do that. They stopped it because there was so much corruption. I put a congressman in jail for selling that, but I probably missed about 50 of them. We covered Mondami. We certainly covered Iran. We told you that we will come and protest any of the. In fact, we're going to make a list of particularly the Republicans. Jeffries, who cares? He's working on an IQ. I don't know if it reaches 3 figures, but in any event, The Republicans who are going after Noam, let's write them down so we can make sure we campaign against them in some way.
Right.
Because I think this is terrible. I think what they're doing is terrible. I think she did a great job, and we're going to keep supporting her. And it turns out, by the way, that she and Bovino, they were basically right. These two people, I don't know if you can call them domestic terrorists. You sure could call them anti-American activists. How about anti-American violent activists? One of them took an automobile and smashed it into a human being, either because she did it deliberately or her girlfriend told her to do it. The other guy twice attacked federal agents violently. First time was horrible. You could see a really violent, out of control guy. Second time, he was executing a clearly designed rearrest program that he was trained to do, which is designed to get you shot or killed, which is to try to break a criminal out. So you distract one guy, you distract the other guy, remember, and you get the criminal out. You do that, cops will shoot you for obstructing justice. By the way, the guy they were trying to get out was a violent criminal. But anybody care about that? Now, of course people care about it. Anybody on the left care about it? Anybody in the media care about that? These people, they're going to have a big national strike starting tomorrow and the next day because two anti-law enforcement, anti-American, violent activists got killed.
And check in to see with your local officials as well and see if they're which side they're on, because we actually have in Michigan a contingent of state lawmakers on a trip to Minnesota to stand in solidarity.
Yeah.
They need to be gone.
And also take a good look at this guy and tell me there isn't something wrong with him. And take a good look at her 2 years ago and today. Tell me there's nothing wrong with her. I don't know what they did, but I think they took a mind and went, bloop, bloop. We got a pretty girl who looks like she's your next door neighbor. And then we got some freakoid. Boom. This guy, I don't know what happened to him, but everybody they interview says he's mental. The word they use, mental. And I think they call him a nurse. I think he was fired several times. Who knows what the hell he was doing as a nurse? A guy who does the shit that he was doing, you want him to be your nurse? You see him banging up against the car, spitting at the agent? You want that guy to be I don't want him as a nurse. Sorry, you keep him. And that's why they keep describing him as a nurse, not a violent anti-law enforcement activist. How close does that get to a domestic terrorist for which Bovino was crucified? And maybe no, let's see, hope not. They were closer to the truth than the assholes who were attacking him. And closer to what protects you and me and our children. And they want to destroy it for us. Well, tomorrow we'll talk a little football because we're getting to a non-football weekend. Do they still have the weekend before that ridiculous, absolutely idiotic Pro Bowl?
I believe they moved the Pro Bowl is this weekend. I think the Pro Bowl now.
It used to always be the weekend before the Super Bowl.
Or was it after? It used to be after.
No.
And then they moved it up. Or maybe they went back and forth. They might have
I remember being in Hawaii once and the Pro Bowl was on and everybody wanted me to go. And I said, the last thing in the world I want to look at is the Pro Bowl. It's the most ridiculous football game that ever existed. They don't even play.
So that they actually are going to do the Pro Bowl games. It's not a real game.
Why?
They're doing it Tuesday.
Oh, great. Nobody will watch, I hope.
Yeah.
Now, are they are still going to desecrate America with Baby Bunny and Green?
Bad Bunny.
Okay, Bad Bunny.
And Green Day.
And Bad Bunny is going to require us to all forget that we're American and we have to all speak Spanish.
Necesitas aprender español para Bad Bunny,
I'm sorry,
señor.
we have only one language in this country. There's very little that holds us together. They don't believe in our values anymore. They better at least damn speak our language.
Right.
Well, and just for your own good, you should learn English.
You got to show that you love America by learning English. You know what the standard should be for coming into this country? That you love this country. That you are passionately in love with the freedom and opportunity afforded you in the greatest country on earth, and you realize why. Then you can join us as Americans. If you're like Ilhan Omar and her brother that she was married to, who spend all their time trying to criticize us and tear us down and make us into a communist or useless country like
and steal our money too. Don't forget
throw
that.
them out and steal like crazy. I mean, $9 billion, $1 billion, $9 billion. Come on. I know you can fool the lefty jerks, but you don't fool me. So what do you think of the attack? Any more views on how whether it was real or not? You know, here's the part that got me. Suppose let's make believe for a second it was me, and somebody came up to me and squirted something on me and ran away, and we arrested the person. Would you let me stand there and give a 40-minute speech and not take off whatever the person squirted on me, unless you knew that it was harmless?
And wouldn't you react a little more alarmed?
No, but think about this. You have no idea what he squirted on you. And you stay there for 40 minutes giving a speech, totally unconcerned about what he squirted on you. You had to know that he squirted something harmless on you.
And I want to know, actually, and this might
Even
be...
I don't get afraid of it. I'd go wipe it off.
This is where we could crowdsource a little bit. There are pictures of her hugging the man who allegedly did this.
When?
So here's the thing. From
When did he
before
hug
the
her?
event. But I don't know if they're AI. I don't know if they're legitimate. So if any of the viewers can dig into it, I would actually really appreciate it. Like, throw it in the comments, either on X or on any of the other platforms.
Well,
They
have two different things of him, and it's hard to know which is true. He was a big Trump guy. Everybody. Then they have a whole other thing of him that his family was very anti-Trump and hated Trump. Now I don't know if that really matters. Here's the thing that sticks in my investigative craw.
Right.
If this guy was dangerous, and you believed he was dangerous, and you weren't assured that it was bullshit, why would you stand there for whatever amount of time she stood there, not knowing what he put on you, and not done anything about it? Explain that to me.
and almost take a protective posture when the cops went to go take him down. She almost looked like she was trying to
let's
protect
go
him.
easy. But I mean, stick with that, Ted. Suppose somebody came up to me and it really was an attack.
Yeah.
And the attack consisted of what you saw. Psh, psh, psh. Then he runs away, we arrest him.
Right.
Would you leave on me for the next half hour, 45 minutes?
Of course not. You're taking that shirt
Well, if
off.
you assume it was an attack, he may have
Yeah.
given me some
Yeah.
poison.
Security immediately rushes you, takes you.
But
out
if
of
you
the room,
know it's bullshit,
then
you
run,
just
yeah.
stand there like you're a hero
Like a tough guy.
and you give the speech.
Right.
I'm a tough guy. I would go take it off.
Don't forget
You
how
would swing at the person.
Well, I don't have swing. Yeah, I
Of
would.
course you would have. What
Of
do you
course,
mean,
I would have
man?
swung at the pride.
And,
I would
we
have.
would have been. Somebody would
I
have
would have
been
knocked
there.
that fat bastard out. He looked like a totally useless
Right.
fat bastard. But in any event,
You wouldn't just.
I
walk
sure as hell,
forward.
when it was over, I'd say, "Excuse me, I'll be right back."
Yeah.
Jacket had come off. I give it to the police to examine. I put something else on. I come out and make the speech.
Right.
I understand why she wanted to end the speech. She wanted to show she was a tough, whatever the hell she is.
Right.
But she also gave away the fact that she knew that was
Right.
harmless.
You don't.
She knew it was harmless, unless she is a complete, absolute Somali moron.
well
Not only that.
She's not.
But
She's
the-
very shrewd.
Yeah, but
She's
not-
a very shrewd,
Right.
dishonest human being.
that's just not naturally how you react to an unknown situation.
No, it's
Best
not.
case scenario, you fight. It's fight or flight. You attack the person,
No.
subdue
You
them,
do one or two things. You attack or you back off.
fight or flight. That's what I
No. Well, you back off and you
Yeah,
let the
back off.
agents.
Right,
I mean,
that's
one
what-
thing she
right,
could have
that's
done.
what
One thing she could have done, which many people would do, is retreat behind the agents. The other thing you would do is go out and fight. She does neither, really. She seems to help him, but I think that's not nearly as telling as the fact that you get attacked by an unknown person. He sprays something on you, and then you leave it there. I'm surprised she didn't start licking it and eating it. So there's something really, really fishy about this. Really fishy. And this woman's a total fraud anyway. What the hell are we paying attention to?
Right.
I know we got to say it's a shame she got attacked. It's a shame she got attacked and she didn't take any precautions against what she was attacked with, which makes me say, I don't know, maybe I'll never figure out what the bullshit was, but it was.
Do we have to say that in this
No,
case?
we don't have to say
it's
it.
not necessarily
We
an
don't
attack.
have to say it because she didn't give a damn about what was squirted on her. Therefore, she knew it was totally harmless. And therefore, we'd be suckers
Right.
if we said, oh, we really feel bad for her.
Oh,
I think the president basically said she's a fraud. I don't know. I'm not going to pay much attention.
she's a fraud, no comment, right? I mean, it's sure,
Yeah,
we're,
what
we're
do
not
you-
asking for her to be harmed.
What do you expect from a fraud? A person who marries a brother?
Right.
Who knows? Oh, God.
They've
And
given up.
who knows how much of the 9 billion she took she went from 0 to 30 million like that. I mean, okay, a lot of the black congressmen in Harlem and stuff like that and other places did the same thing, but
They've given up
but we never caught them. Maybe
the
we
right,
should
the benefit
catch
of the doubt.
her.
Right. They've given up the right to the benefit of the doubt.
Well, thank you very, very much. You're going to pray again tonight, I hope. We always do, because we're still not there yet. We want peace in Ukraine. We want Putin to stop killing them, because you're a damn murderer, Putin, and you should be stopped. Second, we're going to pray for the people of Israel. Things have certainly calmed down a lot. We're going to pray for the people of Iran, because maybe we're on the verge of freedom. That's a wonderful thing. That would be just a wonderful thing. If that country became free and could make its own determination about what it wanted to do and what it wanted to be and how it could contribute. And we're going to pray for the people of Venezuela, who are still making some progress, as Secretary Rubio said, but still living under tyranny, which we got to pull at the right time. Maybe we get Cuba back to countries that respect human beings, and maybe we get them back. Maybe before Trump leaves, we get the entire Western Hemisphere back, except for Canada, which seems to want to team up with Red China.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they'll throw Carney out when they realize what an absolute total fool, after having Castro's son, and now this total fool. What the hell is wrong with you in Canada? You can't imagine how much respect I used to have for you. And British Columbia, I'll take you in a second. I know it's probably I don't know if it's a bad economic. I mean, I trade you California. I shouldn't say that, right? Well, maybe we'll go small. Washington, Oregon.
I like it.
We get rid of a lot of marijuana that way,
Right.
right? Send the marijuana up to Canada.
Right.
I think there's more marijuana per capita in Washington, Colorado, and Oregon than in California. I think so. Because California has all that farmland where the people don't smoke marijuana. They're actually like straight Americans. So thank God for this country. We're still the greatest country. We are the greatest country on earth. The president has us in the direction of preserving that. But it's a big battle. So stick with us. We'll keep you informed on what you need to know about that. We'll keep you informed on the things that are being hidden from you. and we'll do the best we can to give you our honest judgment on what's going on. And we appreciate very, very much the fact that you stick with us. I can't tell you how much we appreciate it.
Right.
So God bless America.
Yay!
It's our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze. We are